She walked into the wrong room and into a billionaire CEO's life. Welcome back to Love Scene Diaries, where we bring you stories that capture the heart's most unexpected journeys. Today's story might just make you believe that sometimes getting lost is the best way to be found. The gleaming glass facade of Harrington Tower stretched impossibly high against the clear blue sky, making Olivia Bennett feel even smaller than her 5-foot frame already did. Her heels clicked rapidly across the marble lobby as she checked her watch for the 5th time in 2 minutes. Late, 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 she muttered, clutching her portfolio case tighter. Of all the days to have a coffee disaster. The stain on her blouse was mostly hidden by her blazer, but the memory of the morning's chaos still burned fresh. Her alarm failing, the pipe under her sink choosing today to leak, and now this. Running late to the meeting that could save her fledgling design business. As the elevator climbed to the 47th floor, Olivia took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart. 6 months on my own, she whispered to her reflection in the polished elevator doors. 6 months of ramen dinners and sleepless nights. I can't blow this opportunity. The doors opened with a soft chime. Olivia rushed down the hallway, scanning door numbers. Suite 4712. 4714. There. 4716. The placard beside the door read, Executive Conference Room. Without hesitation, she pushed the door open, professional smile already in place. I'm so sorry, The words died in her throat. This wasn't a conference room filled with executives. Instead, a solitary figure stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, his back to her, shoulders slightly hunched. Even from behind, something about his posture radiated power and... was that vulnerability? The man turned, revealing a face she'd seen countless times in business magazines. Marcus Harrington himself. Not in his usual commanding pose, but with unmistakable evidence of tears in his eyes. Their eyes locked, his expression transformed from shock to ice in an instant. Who the hell are you and how did you get in here? Have you ever had a moment where one wrong turn changed everything? Where a simple mistake led you exactly where you needed to be, even if it was the last place you wanted? Share your life-changing moments in the comments below. Olivia froze, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. Marcus Harrington, the Marcus Harrington, was staring at her with those piercing blue eyes that had graced the cover of Forbes just last month. I'm so sorry, she stammered, backing toward the door. I thought this was the conference room for the Westfield project meeting. Marcus moved with startling speed, crossing the room in 4 long strides. He was taller than she expected, his tailored suit accentuating broad shoulders. Up close, no trace remained of whatever emotion she'd glimpsed moments ago. That's 2 doors down, he said coldly. This is my private office. It requires keycard access, which means someone let you through security without proper clearance. Olivia's professional smile faltered. The receptionist directed me. I must have misunderstood. Clearly. His gaze swept over her, assessing and dismissive in one glance. Who are you? Olivia Bennett? I own Bennett Design Studio. The words sounded hollow even to her own ears. Owning a studio that was really just her converted dining room hardly put her in the same league as the tech titan standing before her. 6 months earlier, Olivia had stood in her former boss's office at Elite Designs, resignation letter in hand. You're making a mistake, Richard had said, leaning back in his leather chair. No one will hire you without our name behind you. You've taken credit for my work for the last time, she'd replied, voice steady despite her racing heart. I'd rather fail on my own terms than succeed on yours. Later that night, surrounded by moving boxes in her new apartment, the only one she could afford after leaving her secure position, doubt had crept in. What if Richard was right? Miss Bennett? Marcus's sharp tone snapped her back to reality. Yes, sorry. I'll get out of your way. She turned to leave, mortification washing over her in waves. Wait. His command stopped her instantly. How did you get past Diane? As if summoned, the door opened and a sleek woman in her 40s appeared, tablet in hand. Mr. Harrington, your 10 o'clock cancelled and... She stopped, eyes widening at Olivia's presence. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't realize you had someone with you. I don't, Marcus replied. Miss Bennett here apparently wandered in by mistake. Weren't you monitoring the front desk? Diane's professional composure never wavered. There was a security alert in the East Wing. I stepped away for 3 minutes to authorize the override. She turned to Olivia. The Westfield meeting is in 4720. I can escort you there now. Olivia nodded gratefully, eager to escape. The Harrington cybersecurity CEO is exactly as the rumors describe, Diane murmured as they walked down the hallway. Brilliant but brutal. The man built a billion-dollar empire in 8 years, but he's left a trail of crushed competitors and burned-out employees. Had seemed... Olivia hesitated, remembering the unguarded moment she'd witnessed. Intimidating? Diane supplied. That's his specialty, though between us, since his brother's accident last month, he's been different, more isolated. They reached the correct conference room where 3 executives were already seated. Miss Bennett, welcome, said the oldest man, rising to shake her hand. We're excited to see your portfolio. Olivia reached for her case and felt her stomach drop. It wasn't there. My portfolio, she whispered, the blood draining from her face. I must have set it down when I was in... She couldn't bring herself to finish the sentence. Diane's eyes widened in understanding. In Mr. Harrington's office. I'll retrieve it for you. No, Olivia said too quickly. I mean, I'll get it. It's my mistake. Before anyone could object, she was hurrying back down the hallway, heart pounding. This meeting was her first real chance since going solo. She'd spent weeks preparing that portfolio, customizing every page for Westfield Properties. She hesitated outside Marcus's door, then knocked softly. The door swung open. Marcus stood there, her portfolio case in his hand, one eyebrow raised. Looking for this? He asked, his expression unreadable. But something had changed. There was curiosity in his eyes now, and something else she couldn't quite identify. Yes, she said, reaching for it. Thank you. But he didn't release it immediately. Instead, he held her gaze for a long moment. Interesting work, he said finally. Not what I expected. Olivia blinked in surprise. You looked at my portfolio? A ghost of a smile touched his lips. I'm a curious man, Miss Bennett, and you've had a very curious morning. 2 days after the Westfield meeting, Olivia sat cross-legged on her apartment floor, surrounded by bills. The meeting had gone well, at least she thought it had, but they'd promised to be in touch with no definite timeline. Her phone rang with an unknown number. Bennett Design Studio, she answered, injecting confidence into her voice. Miss Bennett, Marcus Harrington. Olivia nearly dropped the phone. Mr. Harrington, how did you... I make it my business to find information I need, he interrupted. I'd like you to come to my office tomorrow, 9 a.m. May I ask what this is regarding? Your portfolio, specifically the sustainable materials section that wasn't intended for Westfield's eyes. The line went dead before she could respond. Diane escorted Olivia directly to Marcus's office, offering a sympathetic smile before departing. This time the space looked different. Morning light streamed through the windows, illuminating what she'd missed before. Minimalist furniture, cutting-edge technology, and a distinct lack of personal touches. Marcus stood behind his desk, her portfolio open before him. These concept sketches, he began without preamble, the ones using reclaimed materials and integrated solar technology, they weren't in your Westfield presentation. Olivia approached cautiously. No. Westfield wanted conventional luxury. Those designs are part of my personal portfolio, my vision for what corporate spaces could be. Should be, Marcus corrected, surprising her. He flipped to another page. This living wall concept with built-in air purification. You've actually built one? In my apartment. It's a prototype. Marcus studied her with new intensity. Westfield rejected your proposal yesterday. The news hit like a physical blow, but Olivia maintained her composure. I see. Thank you for letting me know. I'm not calling to deliver their bad news. He closed the portfolio. I'm offering you a job. Olivia blinked. Excuse me? Harrington Towers East Wing needs redesigning, 40,000 square feet. I want sustainable, innovative, and functional. Based on these designs, you understand that balance. Her mind raced. A project this size would establish her reputation instantly. Wile me, she asked. You could hire any design firm in the country. Those firms would give me what they think I want. You created something original without trying to please anyone. His eyes narrowed. Unless I misread your work. No, she said quickly. Those designs represent my true vision. Good. The budget is $15 million. You'll work directly with me, no intermediaries. The sun made her dizzy. Directly with you? Problem? His tone carried a challenge. Not at all, she replied, though her racing heart suggested otherwise. When would you need the initial concepts? 2 weeks, and I expect you on site daily. I've had a workspace prepared adjacent to this office. The power imbalance wasn't subtle. He was offering her career salvation while ensuring she'd be under his thumb. May I ask why the redesign is happening now? She ventured. Something flickered across his face, the same vulnerability she'd glimpsed that first day. The East Wing housed our accessibility technology division. My brother headed it before his accident. It needs a new purpose now. The personal connection surprised her. I'd need to understand that purpose to design effectively. That's why you'll work with me directly. He extended his hand. Do we have an agreement? Olivia hesitated only briefly before shaking it. His grip was firm, the contact sending an unexpected current up her arm. This isn't working, Marcus said, pacing before the concept board in their shared workspace. Olivia stood her ground. Because you keep prioritizing efficiency over experience. Buildings should function perfectly. People aren't perfect, she countered. Spaces should adapt to human needs, not force humans to adapt to spaces. Marcus stopped pacing, studying her with newfound interest. Most people don't interrupt me. Most people want something from you. I just want to do good work. For the first time, she saw a genuine smile transform his face. Then let's compromise, he said, moving closer to the board. Show me how to balance both our visions. As they leaned in together over the designs, Olivia felt something shift between them, a mutual respect forming that neither had anticipated. The annual Harrington Foundation Gala is non-negotiable, Marcus stated, not looking up from his tablet as Olivia entered his office with the latest material samples. As lead designer for our most significant project, your presence is expected. 3 weeks into their working relationship, Olivia had grown accustomed to his direct manner, but this caught her off guard. A gala? I don't have anything to wear to something like that. Now he did look up, his expression unreadable. The company will cover appropriate attire. Diane will arrange it. That's not necessary. It is. His tone left no room for argument. Major donors and board members will be there. They'll want to hear about the redesign directly from you. Later that afternoon, Diane escorted Olivia to an exclusive boutique where a selection of evening gowns awaited. He's never sent a designer to the gala before, Diane remarked casually, watching Olivia examine a midnight blue dress. You've made quite an impression. Olivia tried to ignore the flutter in her stomach. We argue about every design element. I doubt he's impressed. He respects you, Diane countered. I can count on one hand the people Marcus truly respects. The ballroom of the Grand Meridian Hotel glittered with wealth and influence. Olivia stood just inside the entrance, feeling like an imposter despite the elegant gown that fit her perfectly. She spotted Marcus immediately, his commanding presence drawing attention even in a room full of powerful people. He was speaking with an elderly couple when he noticed her. For a brief moment, something like appreciation flashed across his features before he composed himself and beckoned her over. Mrs. Whitmore, this is Olivia Bennett, the visionary behind our East Wing transformation, he introduced. Olivia, Eleanor Whitmore chairs our foundation's education initiative. The Sustainable Classroom Project? Olivia asked, genuinely interested. I read about your work bringing green technology to underserved schools. Eleanor beamed. Marcus didn't mention you were familiar with our programs. Ms. Bennett has a remarkable talent for research. Marcus said, his hand lightly touching the small of Olivia's back as he guided her deeper into the conversation. The evening progressed in a whirl of introductions and explanations of her design concepts. Marcus remained close, smoothly integrating her into conversations with key stakeholders. His public persona surprised her, charming and attentive where his office demeanor was often brusque. After an hour of socializing, Olivia needed air. She slipped away to a balcony overlooking the city lights, breathing deeply in the cool night air. "Escaping already?" Marcus's voice came from behind her. She turned to find him holding 2 champagne flutes. "Just recharging, social batteries run low in crowds." "An introvert designing social spaces," he observed, handing her a glass. "Interesting contradiction." "Or perfect sense," she countered. "I understand the need for both connection and retreat. Your East Wing design incorporates both." He leaned against the balcony rail beside her, their shoulders nearly touching. "You're different from what I expected. Because I stand up to you? Because you see things others miss." He gazed out at the city. "Like that first day in my office." The mention of their first encounter hung between them. Olivia took a sip of champagne before asking, "Your brother's accident? Is that what I interrupted?" Marcus was quiet so long she thought he wouldn't answer. "Michael's car went off an embankment 3 months ago. Spinal injury." His voice remained steady, but his knuckles whitened around his glass. "That day was the first time he told me he might never walk again." "I'm so sorry," she said softly. The East Wing was his project, adaptive technology for people with disabilities. Marcus turned to face her. "That's why your designs matter. They need to honor his work while moving forward." Understanding dawned. "That's why you've been so exacting about accessibility features." "Yes, you should have told me. I don't discuss personal matters." "This isn't just personal," she said gently. "It's the soul of the project." Something shifted in his expression, a wall coming down. "Michael wants to meet you. He says anyone who can argue with me for 3 weeks straight deserves a medal." Olivia laughed, surprised by the warmth that spread through her at his almost smile. "I'd like that." A comfortable silence settled between them as they looked out at the glittering cityscape. When Marcus spoke again, his voice had softened. "You asked once why I chose you for this project." He turned to face her fully. "Your designs showed compassion alongside innovation. That's rare." The intensity in his gaze made her breath catch. For the first time she saw past the billionaire CEO to the man beneath, complicated, guarded, but deeply caring about his work and his brother. "Thank you for trusting me with this," she said quietly. His eyes dropped briefly to her lips before he straightened, professional mask sliding back into place. "We should return. The foundation director wants to meet you." As they walked back toward the ballroom, his hand found the small of her back again. This time, the gentle pressure felt less like guidance and more like connection. "Do you believe first impressions can be completely wrong? Have you ever discovered something unexpected about someone that changed everything you thought you knew? Share your experiences in the comments below." Rain lashed against the windows of the East Wing as Olivia and Marcus stood on opposite sides of the conference table, tension crackling between them like electricity. "Don't work," Marcus insisted, jabbing his finger at the blueprints. "The central atrium concept sacrifices too much usable space." "It creates a heart for the entire wing," Olivia countered, frustration evident in her voice. "People need natural gathering places. People need functional workspaces. This is a business, not a park." "It's both. That's the entire point of biophilic design." She pushed her hair back in exasperation. "The atrium connects all 4 floors visually while bringing in natural light. Studies show productivity increases up to 15% in spaces with—" "I'm familiar with the research," he cut in, "but the board expects maximum efficiency. And your employees deserve maximum humanity." The words burst out before she could stop them. Marcus went still, his expression darkening. "Careful, Ms. Bennett." "No." Weeks of working together had eroded her fear of his intimidation tactics. "You hired me for my vision. This is it." A workspace that acknowledges people aren't machines. People disappoint, machines don't. The bitterness in his voice made her pause. Is that really what you believe? Their eyes locked across the table. For a moment the mask slipped, and she glimpsed something raw in his expression. What I believe doesn't matter, he said finally. Results do. Results come from people who feel valued. She moved around the table, closing the distance between them. Your brother understood that. His adaptive technology division had the highest employee satisfaction ratings in the company. Marcus's jaw tightened. Don't use Michael to manipulate me. I'm not. I'm reminding you of what you already know. She stood directly before him now. This redesign isn't just about space. It's about what you want Harrington Cybersecurity to become after nearly losing your brother. The silence stretched between them, charged with something beyond professional disagreement. Show me, he said finally, his voice low. What? Show me exactly how this atrium concept embodies what Michael was building. Olivia pulled up the 3D rendering on her tablet, standing close enough that their shoulders touched, as she explained each element. The accessible pathways, the acoustic considerations, the flexible gathering spaces. Marcus leaned in, his focus intense. This seating area here, she said, zooming in, it's designed so wheelchair users and standing colleagues can interact at eye level, and these planters double as privacy screens that can be reconfigured as needed. You've thought of everything, he murmured, his breath warm against her cheek. Not everything, she admitted. That's why I need your input, but the core concept, a space that adapts to people rather than forcing people to adapt. That's non-negotiable. When she looked up, his face was inches from hers, his eyes searching hers with an intensity that made her heart race. You're extraordinary, he said quietly. The compliment, so unexpected from his usually critical lips, left her momentarily speechless. His gaze dropped to her mouth and she felt herself leaning imperceptibly closer. The conference room doors swung open. Mr. Harrington, the Tokyo investors are on the line, Diane announced, then froze, clearly sensing the charged atmosphere. Marcus straightened immediately, professional mask sliding back into place. Schedule them for tomorrow. Ms. Bennett and I need to finalize these design elements. After Diane left, the moment had broken. They worked for 3 more hours, reaching compromises on the atrium design that satisfied them both. Yet something had fundamentally shifted between them, a boundary crossed that couldn't be uncrossed. That night, Olivia sat on her apartment balcony, sketchbook open but untouched as rain continued to fall. Her phone chimed with a text from her friend Zoe. Drinks tomorrow? Need to hear about this billionaire boss you're suddenly working 80-hour weeks for. Olivia sighed, typing back, Can't, deadline approaching. Zoe's response was immediate. You never miss Friday drinks. Either you're dying or falling for him. Which is it? The question hit too close to home. Was she falling for Marcus Harrington? The thought was terrifying. He was her client, her incredibly powerful, emotionally complex client, with trust issues a mile deep. Yet she couldn't deny the electricity between them today, or how her heart had nearly stopped when he'd looked at her lips. Worse, she couldn't stop thinking about the vulnerability he'd shown on the balcony at the gala, or how his rare smiles transformed his entire face. This is professional suicide, she muttered to herself, closing her sketchbook as thunder rumbled overhead. Across town in his penthouse, Marcus stood at the window wall, watching the same storm. A glass of scotch sat untouched on his desk, beside Michael's latest medical report. Small improvements, but a long road ahead. His phone rang, his brother's ringtone. You're up late, Marcus answered. Pain meds wore off, Michael replied. How's the East Wing coming? We're making progress. Marcus hesitated. Olivia wants a central atrium. Smart woman. I always said that wing needed a heart. It's inefficient. Michael laughed. So are emotions, but they make life worth living. A pause. You like her? It wasn't a question. The brothers had always been able to read each other. She's talented, Marcus admitted. And she stands up to you. When do I get to meet her? Soon. Marcus took a breath. She reminds me of Elise sometimes. The comparison to his ex-fiancée who'd sold intimate details of their relationship to tabloids hung heavy in the silence. Olivia's nothing like Elise, Michael said firmly. I've seen her interviews about sustainable design. She's the real deal. Everyone seems genuine until they aren't. Not everyone wants something from you, Marcus. But experience had taught him otherwise. Every relationship, personal and professional, eventually revealed an agenda. Yet something about Olivia felt different. Her passion was for the work itself, not what he could give her. The almost kiss replayed in his mind, the way she'd looked at him, not as a billionaire or CEO, but simply as a man, had cracked something open inside him he'd thought permanently sealed. And that terrified him more than any business challenge ever had. The East Wing was taking shape beautifully. After 2 months of intense collaboration, Olivia and Marcus had found a rhythm that balanced his pragmatism with her vision. The central atrium steel framework now reached skyward, and the first of the living walls had been installed. Olivia arrived early one morning, coffee in hand, eager to check on the custom light fixtures being installed. The construction site was quiet. She was the first one there. Her phone buzzed with a news alert. Absently she opened it, then nearly dropped her coffee. Harrington's secret romance. Billionaire CEO falls for unknown designer. Below the headline was a photo of her and Marcus on the balcony at the gala, standing close, his hand at the small of her back as they gazed at each other. The article claimed inside sources confirmed their passionate affair had begun when she accidentally entered his office months ago. Horror washed over her as she scrolled through more photos, Marcus leaning close as they reviewed plans, their hands nearly touching over blueprints, the two of them leaving the building late one evening, deep in conversation. All innocent moments twisted into something scandalous. Her phone rang. Zoe. "Tell me it's true," her friend demanded without preamble. "It's not," Olivia said firmly. "We're colleagues, that's all." The photos look pretty cozy for colleagues. They're taken out of context. But even as she said it, Olivia knew the chemistry between them was real. Just never acted upon. The construction site door slammed open. Marcus strode in, fury radiating from every line of his body. Diane hurried behind him, looking worried. "Everyone out," he commanded the few workers who had arrived. "Now!" As they scattered, Olivia stood her ground, heart pounding. "Marcus, I just saw—" "Was this your plan all along?" His voice was deadly quiet. "Get close to me, then sell our story to the highest bidder?" The accusation hit like a physical blow. "What? No, I would never." The article quotes an insider with intimate knowledge of our relationship. "Only a handful of people know the details of our first meeting." His eyes were cold. "You're the only one with nothing to lose, and everything to gain from this exposure." "That's not true," she whispered, stunned by his immediate assumption of betrayal. "Your design firm was failing, now your name is everywhere linked with mine." He stepped closer, voice dropping. "Was that the goal? Use me for publicity?" Anger flared through her shock. "How dare you, after everything we've built here?" "We built nothing," he cut in. "I hired you to do a job. Clearly I misread your intentions." Diane stepped forward. "Marcus, perhaps we should—" "Call legal," he interrupted. "I want Ms. Bennett's contract terminated immediately." The clinical detachment in his voice as he dismantled their connection was worse than his anger. Olivia felt something breaking inside her chest. "You don't need to terminate me," she said, struggling to keep her voice steady. "I quit." She placed her access badge on a nearby workbench. "You were right about one thing, Marcus. I did misunderstand that first day. I thought I walked into the wrong room. But my mistake was thinking I ever saw the real you." Without waiting for a response, she walked out, head high despite the tears threatening to fall. 3 days passed in a blur. Olivia ignored calls from reporters and declined Zoe's offers to come over. Her apartment, once a source of pride with its prototype living wall, now felt like a shrine to shattered dreams. On the 4th day, her intercom buzzed. "Ms. Bennett, there's a Michael Harrington here to see you." Confused, she buzzed him up. When she opened the door, she found a man in a wheelchair with Marcus's eyes and a warmer smile. "You must be Olivia," he said. "I think we need to talk." Over coffee, Michael explained that he'd been investigating the leak. The inside source was a security guard Marcus fired last month. He accessed old security footage and sold it along with fabricated details. "Why are you telling me this? Because my brother is too stubborn to do it himself?" Michael's expression softened. "And because I saw what you did." He showed her a video on his tablet. Olivia outside her apartment building, surrounded by reporters. "Is it true you're having an affair with Marcus Harrington?" a reporter demanded in the footage. On screen, Olivia's expression hardened. "Mr. Harrington is a brilliant businessman whose work deserves respect, not tabloid speculation. Our relationship is strictly professional, and I won't dignify these rumors by discussing them further." "You defended him," Michael said quietly, "even after he accused you." "The truth matters," she replied simply. "It does." Michael handed her an envelope. "Which is why you should see these." Inside were screenshots of emails. Offers from 3 different publications willing to pay her substantial sums for exclusive details about Marcus. "All received after you quit," Michael noted. "All declined without response." "I would never sell someone's privacy," she said, pushing the envelope back to him. "Not for any amount." Michael studied her for a long moment. "He knows that now. And he hasn't been the same since you left." 1 week after Michael's visit, Olivia received an elegant envelope containing an invitation to the East Wing's preview reception. Her name was embossed in gold with a handwritten note at the bottom. "Your vision deserves to be celebrated, Anne." She'd almost decided not to attend when her phone rang with Diane's number. "He's a mess," Diane said without preamble. "The contractors are confused, the board is concerned, and the atrium looks nothing like your design." "That's not my problem anymore," Olivia replied, though her heart ached at the thought. "Have fired the replacement designer yesterday," Diane continued. "Said they lacked vision and integrity, those exact words." Olivia remained silent, fighting the urge to ask for more details. "The reception is tomorrow," Diane pressed. "The press will be there, major clients too." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because in 3 years as his assistant I've never seen Marcus Harrington admit he was wrong," Diane paused. "Until now." The East Wing glowed with strategic lighting that highlighted its architectural features. Guests in formal attire mingled throughout the space, champagne glasses in hand. Olivia stood at the entrance, gathering her courage before stepping inside. She'd chosen a simple emerald dress, professional yet striking. As she moved through the crowd, she noted the changes to her design, some improvements, some compromises, and some elements clearly abandoned without her guidance. The central atrium, however, remained true to her original vision, a soaring space filled with greenery and natural light even in the evening hours. Standing beneath it, she felt a bittersweet pride. "It's missing something." Marcus's voice behind her sent a jolt through her system. She turned to find him watching her, his expression uncharacteristically uncertain. "The south-facing panels," she said automatically. "They should be angled to capture morning light." A ghost of a smile touched his lips. "I knew you'd notice." They stood in awkward silence until he gestured toward a quieter corner. "May I have a moment?" She followed him to a small seating area, one she'd designed specifically for private conversations within the open concept space. "You came," he said, as if still surprised by her presence. "Your invitation was hard to ignore." "I sent 17 drafts before sending it." The admission of uncertainty was so unlike him that Olivia blinked in surprise. "I wasn't sure you'd want to hear from me after you accused me of betraying you," she finished quietly. "Yes." He met her eyes directly. "I was wrong." 3 simple words, yet she knew how much they cost him. "Michael showed me the evidence," she acknowledged. "It shouldn't have taken evidence." His voice dropped lower. "I should have trusted you." Before she could respond, a microphone squealed as someone tapped it. The crowd quieted as a board member began introducing Marcus for his speech. "I have to," he gestured toward the small stage. "Of course." As Marcus took the microphone, Olivia prepared herself for the standard corporate speech about innovation and progress. Instead, he looked directly at her as he began. The space you're standing in tonight represents more than a redesign. It represents a fundamental shift in how Harrington's cybersecurity views its purpose. His gaze swept the room. For years, I believed efficiency was the highest value. I was wrong. A murmur rippled through the crowd at this unexpected admission. This project taught me that spaces shape people as much as people shape spaces, and the person who taught me that lesson deserves recognition. He extended his hand toward her. Olivia Bennett's vision is embedded in every aspect of this design. Her insistence on creating a space that serves human needs rather than merely corporate goals has transformed not just this wing, but my understanding of what this company can be. Cameras turned toward her as applause broke out. Marcus continued. Unfortunately, due to my own failure to recognize the value of trust, Ms. Bennett is no longer with the project. That mistake is entirely mine and one I hope to rectify. The public acknowledgement left her breathless. As Marcus concluded his speech and the crowd dispersed to explore the space, he made his way back to her. "Was that your grand gesture?" she asked, trying to maintain composure despite her racing heart. "Part of it." He took a deep breath. "The board has approved a new division focused on sustainable corporate design. I'd like you to lead it. Complete creative control, your name on the door." "Marcus, if you don't want to work with me again, I understand, but the offer stands regardless." "It's not about the work," she said softly. "It's about trust. You immediately assumed the worst of me. Because trusting people has always ended badly for me." His voice roughened. "Until you. You defended me even after I hurt you. No one's ever done that." He reached for her hand, his touch tentative. "I can't promise I won't make mistakes, but I can promise to try to be worthy of your trust." The vulnerability in his eyes was answer enough. She laced her fingers through his. "The south panels really do need adjusting," she said with the beginning of a smile. "I saved them for you," he replied, his eyes never leaving hers. "I saved all the most important parts for you." 1 year later. Golden afternoon light streamed through the atrium of Harrington Tower's East Wing, now internationally acclaimed as a breakthrough in sustainable corporate architecture. Employees gathered in small groups throughout the space, some working collaboratively, others enjoying the living walls and water features that had become the building's signature. Olivia stood on the 4th-floor walkway, observing how people used the space she'd designed. Bennett's sustainable design, her division within Harrington Cybersecurity, had grown to a team of 12 and had projects lined up for the next 3 years. "Spying on your creation?" Marcus's voice was warm as he joined her at the railing, coffee cups in hand. "Gathering data," she corrected, accepting the cup with a smile. "The northeast corner still doesn't get enough foot traffic." "Always perfecting." He brushed a strand of hair from her face, the casual intimacy of the gesture still new enough to make her heart skip. "Michael's waiting for us in the conference room. He's excited about the adaptive technology showcase." Since returning to work part-time, Michael had become Olivia's strongest ally and friend. His rehabilitation was progressing well, and the brothers' relationship had deepened through the challenges. "I'll be right there," she promised. Marcus hesitated, something uncharacteristically nervous in his expression. "Before we go in, I have something for you." He pulled a small box from his pocket, and Olivia's breath caught. "It's not what you think," he said quickly, then smiled. "Well, not exactly." Inside the box was a key. "To the lake house," he explained. "I had the renovations done according to your sketches. Solar panels, living roof, the works." The lake house, his private retreat that he'd never shared with anyone, the place he'd mentioned once as the only space where he felt truly at peace. "Marcus, I want to build a life with you, Olivia, not just work together." His voice grew softer. "You walked into the wrong room that day, but it turned out to be exactly where you belonged." She closed her hand around the key, emotion tightening her throat. "I think we both found where we belonged." He drew her close, his forehead resting against hers. "You taught me that walls don't just keep pain out, they keep joy out too." "And you taught me that taking risks can lead to the greatest rewards," she whispered back. As they kissed, high above the atrium they'd created together, Olivia realized that sometimes the wrong turn leads exactly where you're meant to be. Do you believe love can help us overcome our deepest fears? Has someone special in your life helped you tear down walls you built to protect yourself? Subscribe for more stories that explore the transformative power of love, and share your experiences in the comments below.